California isn't always on fire. In fact, even when you watch the news and they make it seem like it isn't. Every spring, by just sheer acreage alone, another kind of explosion covers much more area than wildfires ever have in this state. An explosion of color. In the spring of 2019, a rare event called a superbloom took place. No one was evacuated, and there were no jumbo jets dropping red stuff from the sky, so you probably didn't see it live at 11. But it happened, and we did our best to capture it. When you travel, the world becomes a smaller place. When you explore with friends that share a love of photography, destinations come to life. We tell the stories of travel with our cameras, capturing some of the most beautiful locations on Earth. But every adventure reveals more than what's in the frame. The people, the food, and unexpected turns of the journey bring the full experience of travel into focus.
Production funding for Outside Beyond the Lens provided by the Fresno Clovis Convention and Visitors Bureau. Nature, diversity, found in the heart of California's San Joaquin Valley. Fresno County, an outside year-round playground. By TOOTELIAN, crop care advice, products, and services. Farms feed families, public television feeds minds. By BK Lighting and Tekka Illumination, helping brighten the world with custom landscape and architectural lighting solutions. By Integrated Agribusiness Professionals, members building healthy families and communities to feed your heart and soul. And by Valley Air Conditioning and Repair, family-owned for 50 years, proud to support Outside Beyond the Lens and the wonders of travel. And by viewers like you.
They happen about once a decade in California. It takes an unusually wet winter to soak the lower foothills and deserts in the Golden State. And it only lasts for a month or two. It's called a superbloom. Basically, it's a term to describe an outbreak of flowers that exceeds the norm. And in the spring of 2019 in California, it really broke loose. You didn't have to go far to see the color show. The foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains near Yosemite National Park turned orange with large blooms of the state flower, the California poppy. In the deserts outside of Los Angeles, record blooms of poppies attracted thousands armed with smartphones and selfie sticks. Some left their common sense at home, so places like this had to be closed from people trampling the delicate flowers. We can never take you anywhere nice. But once it was obvious that the super bloom was on this year, I knew there was only one place I wanted to go. A place we've been to before, and a place I'll go back again and again, time after time. Near the far southern end of California's massive San Joaquin Valley, not far from Bakersfield, you'll find a large area of protected land that is frozen in time. Carrizo Plains National Monument. On any normal year, this place gets a scant amount of visitors. But when word of a superbloom spreads to nearby cities, they come in massive hordes to see something that even expert flower lovers are shocked by. Thousands of acres explode with colors so vibrant, it's hard to believe it's real. For most, this is a day trip, about an hour-and-a-half drive from LA and 2 hours from Fresno, California. On the main Soda Lake Road that travels in a north-south direction through the heart of Carrizo Plains is where you'll find most of the flowers and most of the people. total. I can't actually even get through here right now.
No.
Carrizo Plain, usually there's nobody here. You can drive 50 miles and see one car. During super bloom in California, this is what it looks like. It is literally like a traffic jam. There's cars everywhere. People are walking in places they shouldn't be walking. Everybody's excited though, and you get it when you pull over, when you come over the hill and you see the brilliancy of these flowers and the contrast of the blue sky and the green grass and then the bright flowers. It sort of takes you away, and it's easy to become like a kid and not think about things like, hey, maybe I shouldn't walk on these beautiful yellow flowers, or where you park, and giving way to traffic. Everybody just sort of turns dumb out here, including us. Here, expansive carpets of California goldfields, tidy tips, and fiddleneck blanket the hills in golds and yellow. This is one of those kind of days where you just don't want to have anywhere to be or any schedule to follow. And just a heads up when you drive here, this road is mostly unpaved, and the washboard bumps here in spots are so bad that they might actually loosen some dental work. So plan on some dust, bumps, and people not exactly paying attention to the road at all times. We started at the south end of the plains, moving slowly north on a busy weekend in the midst of one of the biggest super blooms in 40 years here. David Boomer and my son Jett loaded up in a rig we call the Battle Van, fully equipped for the next zombie apocalypse or to go off-road and explore the beauty of another super bloom. And because the Battle Van is equipped with four-wheel drive, the first chance we see to take a left on a small dirt road, we do. And almost instantly, things change. Above the crowded valley floor, we wind into a whole new landscape of green grasses and flowers with not another soul around. One of the great things about Carrizo Plain National Monument in the bottom part, the southern part of the San Joaquin Valley, is that it's BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. So you can jump on the dirt roads, take a drive off the main drag. As you saw earlier, we had a ton of people down there, all piled into the same group of flowers, all, and unfortunately in some cases, trampling on the flowers, which we don't want to do. There's countless dirt roads that just peel off to the side of the main road. We took one, Dave and I took one, and jumped up here on top of the ridge opposing the really bright yellow flowers that we see over there. And this is what's great about coming to a national monument that's on land, Bureau land and BLM land, is you can all of a sudden quickly and easily feel like you're by yourself. You're away from the crowded main corridor. For a photography standpoint, we've kind of hit it out of the park today. We've been watching on the various social media websites and Facebook pages. There's lots of ways to track the peak bloom for places like Carrizo Plain, so we've been watching it. We are literally here today on peak bloom of a super bloom for Southern California, for all of California. So it's a very special day to be where we are right now. Carrizo Plains is one of those places that most people you talk to have never heard about. In the shadow of California's big three national parks, Yosemite, Kings Canyon, and Sequoia, Carrizo Plains doesn't usually make the international visitors' to-do lists. So in a non-super bloom year, it's really quiet here, but no less amazing to see. Nearly 250,000 acres of land remains largely untouched. preserving the last great remaining grasslands in a state where 40 million people now live. The contrast between this place and the population density of Los Angeles just an hour and a half away is stunning. From above, Carrizo Plain's most prominent feature is easily seen. A giant crack in the earth, otherwise known as the San Andreas Fault. The fault runs northerly and has lifted these foothills over time to frame the east side of the main basin. As the afternoon sun begins to pass, we move back onto Soda Lake Road to continue our slow drive to the north. At around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the crowds begin to thin out as visitors make their way back home after a perfect spring day.
It's amazing out here, honestly. We heard that it was the super bloom, so we knew it was the perfect time to come. And we live like an hour and a half away. We came over and it is amazing out here. The flowers are abundant everywhere, and yeah, we're really enjoying it.
Did you guys just come and just peace out? Are you doing photography? Or?
Yeah, we took a couple pictures, you know, nothing professional, but it was awesome. Yeah, we kind of had a picnic in the middle of the flowers and hung out. Yeah, it was cool. So today there were a bunch of people. I'm guessing, you know, Sunday, everyone's out. But I came here on a Tuesday last time, and there were not many people at all. But today, plenty of people.
At this point late in the day, we still haven't decided where we'll camp for the night. And that's what makes a trip to Carrizo Plains so relaxing. You don't need a reservation or worry about getting the last camping spot. Disbursement camping in your car is allowed primarily in the foothills, where there are miles of open land to find a good spot. The only big no-go is camping on the main valley floor itself, which is prohibited throughout the entire monument. When you come here, make sure your gas tank is full and you've got an ice chest on board. There are 0 services in Carrizo Plains, so you've got to be geared up with your provisions no matter how long your stay here will be. After checking the map, we decide to turn west on this little dirt road and drive about a mile in, looking for a flat place to park and set up camp for the night. We see a few other groups camped in the distance and lucked out with a nice little spot to park the battle van and get ready for a quiet night on the Carrizo Plains. Morning sun over the super bloom of Carrizo Plain. One thing we can't really do with television is convey the absolutely beautiful smells of all these flowers as we wake up. It It didn't get cold last night, so everything was alive and ready to go as we make breakfast and explore around camp to grab some new shots. The early morning light gives the super bloom a totally different look that our afternoon adventures did yesterday. The predominant flower color in spring is yellow, but in a low-lying section on the valley floor, a dense carpet of Perry's mallow draw early bird flower finders from the parking area about a mile away.
We came to see flowers, and we like that you can disperse camp out here, and it's really kind of an in-between. You can get out here, camp not in a campground, just kind of be off on your own, but yet you feel kind of safe because you see other people, there's people around, so if you were to, you know, have an issue, it's kind of a nice, safe place to be.
I love flowers, they're one of my favorite things, and so I was super stoked to walk all the way out to the purples, and it's just like you're engulfed in just a million flowers. It's super cool.
It's beautiful out there with the purple flowers, and then there's some green ones coming up too that are just awesome and make the color contrast amazing, especially for photography.
Where are you guys from?
Ventura.
Okay, so not a
Yeah,
very far
not too
drive.
far, which was also, you know, one of the draws, because you can really feel like you're off the grid, but yet you're only 2.5 hours away.
Most of the 2019 Super Bloom happened in April statewide, although Carrizo Plain and nearby Antelope Valley drew the biggest crowds. The right conditions of heavy winter rainfall and warm spring sun make the once-a-decade Super Bloom spectacular to see. But as summer arrives and temperatures go well over 100 degrees here, the window for this colorful display is short. At the far northern end of the monument, you need to keep your eyes open for some of the larger wildlife in the area. Several herd of tule elk make regular appearances here, and pronghorn antelope graze the cattle land close to Highway 58. I've been coming here a long time, but something I've never done before was connect a trip with Carrizo Plain to a very remote, obscure, yet historic valley near the coastal town of San Luis Obispo, California. A place called the Pozo Valley. One of the Central Coast's best-kept secrets is this place, the Pozo Saloon. It opened its doors in 1858 and is still a special place to visit on the weekends. The saloon is a great example of what it was like in the Wild West of early California, and today is locally famous for its ridiculously delicious Pozo burger and carrot cake. But there's another reason to find your way back to Pozo on the weekends during any season of the year. A rapidly growing industry in nearby Paso Robles has turned this entire region into a wine lover's destination. And here, in sleepy little Pozo, California, we met a family that's been cattle ranching for over 100 years and now is making their own wine at Vintage Cowboy Winery.
Pozo's been here for a long time. It was way before my family got here. It was kind of a stopping off point for people on their way to town to put their livestock or their crops on the train, which came through Santa Margarita. A couple bars, hotel, blacksmith, grocery store, kind of a hopping place. People would stop off here, take usually a day by wagon to get here and then another day to get to town, and then vice versa on their way back home if they were headed east. So Pozo kind of became the place to stop over, I guess, to take your goods to put them on the train. My family came out of Nebraska and ended up in Santa Margarita and bought the grocery store in 1913, I believe. My great-great-grandfather decided he wasn't cut out for the grocery store business and came out here and started buying up land and splitting it up. But because back then Pozo was kind of looking like it was going to start growing, that actually did not happen, which meant we retained the ranch. So that's the whole reason for him to come out here, was to ranch, but also to, you know, kind of split off and sell off little pieces of the ranch.
The cool coastal nights and warm sunny days are the perfect combo to grow wine grapes. And Joey Arnold's interest in making wine has turned this into a full family affair, all set in a quiet, secluded valley that's actually not that far from busy coastal hotspots like Pismo Beach.
So throughout high school, we still rodeoed and ran our cows, but the grapes kind of, you know, took the lead on what was important. And when it came time to go to college, I went as a viticulture major. I was going to be a farmer. I was going to farm grapes. That's just what was going to happen. I was, you know, the enology classes were required at Cal Poly, and I was into chemistry, enjoyed my chemistry classes. So after college, trying to figure out what we could do to kind of move things forward out here, the wine, I enjoyed making wine in college and decided I'd start dabbling in it, and a few years later decided we'd just jump in the deep end of the pool and make a go of it, see if we can make a go of it.
It's great. Honestly, when we have good things happen in the company, everybody's happy. Of course, we have lows also, but it's definitely a challenge. Not a lot of families can work together, and we all have our own place in the company, and we all work together. So, for instance, I do a lot of the organization and office work, that kind of thing. Jessica and I work together in the tasting room and wine club, but then Jessica does a lot of our graphic work.
I've been in the wine industry for a little while, and what was different about this winery is they actually are a family of cowboys, and it's kind of a lost legacy, and we were thinking we need to put cowboy in our label. And it's really hard for Michelle and I to get Ryan and Joey out of the roping arena to just come and make wine. You might have to learn how to drive the forklift eventually.
Yes, I'll try to do, yes.
But yeah, so we decided that Vintage Cowboy kind of was, it showed who we are.
Real cowboys doing real cowboy stuff and making really good wine in an amazing little valley with a lot of early California history.
So all that remains of Pozo from its heyday, some of the buildings that were the hotel and the gas station are still there, but they're residences now. The only thing that's actually continuing is the Pozo Saloon. And it's kind of one of those places that everybody that comes here loves. They remember it forever, and it's not uncommon when we're traveling in other states and even other countries to run into people that have been to the Pozo Saloon, so they know exactly where we live.
If you've never heard of Pozo, the Pozo Saloon, or Vintage Cowboy Winery, adding a stop here to any Central California road trip is a must. Carrizo Plain National Monument is one of our favorite places to explore in California, and when the conditions are right, the wildflower bloom here is just something you have to see to believe. Road trips to places like this are always good for the soul. But if you do a little extra digging into some of the stops off the beaten path, the extra effort to travel to places like Carrizo Plain and Pozo almost always pay off.
Yeah, we timed it exactly right. I mean, it couldn't have been better timing or weather.
It's easy to get stuck into the grind of what we think is important in life. And it can feel even worse when we look out of our phones and see a world that seems pretty out of whack. Stepping away from devices and social media, and yes, even the TV, will always reboot your brain and help remind you that, in fact, everything is not burning down, and that this earth we live on is a pretty special place.
Production funding for Outside Beyond the Lens provided by the Fresno Clovis Convention and Visitors Bureau. Nature, diversity, found in the heart of California's San Joaquin Valley. Fresno County, an outside year-round playground. By TOOTELIAN, crop care advice, products, and services. Farms feed families, public television feeds minds. By BK Lighting and Tekka Illumination, helping brighten the world with custom landscape and architectural lighting solutions. By Integrated Agribusiness Professionals, members building healthy families and communities to feed your heart and soul. And by Valley Air Conditioning and Repair, family-owned for 50 years, proud to support Outside Beyond the Lens and the wonders of travel. And by viewers like you.